So in light of the news that Togashi has been writing more than ever on Hunter x Hunter, I want to talk about Gyro again, because at the rate of writing, we might get to see him written back into the story at some point. Now, for those of you who don't remember, Gyro is the founder and former king of NGL, the nation where the Chimera Ant arc took place in, basically. The nation took him 18 years to form, which is actually insane if you think about it. While being the leader of NGL, he was also the underground kingpin, so basically, no matter where you were, his law extended and could reach you. Now, he wasn't always this powerful king. He actually had a really sad backstory as a kid. Gyro was born to a drunk father, who was also very abusive. He wasn't allowed to leave the house past 9 p.m. and his father would actually gruesomely beat him if he made sounds in the bed by breathing or creaking. So he learned to be able to sleep without moving an entire muscle. He actually truly suffered from Stockholm Syndrome at one point because he still loved his father even though his father was literally barely feeding him, abusing him, taking the money that he worked for, and all that. And he loved him for 2 reasons. His father has never told him to get out, and at one point, Gyro had got sick when he was young, the age of 5 to be exact, and he thought that his father was the one who took care of him while he was on the verge of death. Sadly enough, Gyro's father didn't even talk to him as much, so the only thing that Gyro could recall his father telling him was don't make trouble for anyone. Now through all that, Gyro did finally snap as a kid. One day when a kid insulted his father, Gyro attacked the kid and was then brutally beaten. When the kid revealed that when Gyro was sick, it wasn't his father that took care of him, it was actually a neighbor. His father just got drunk that night as usual. And then after that, he also tells the kid how his father doesn't love him and only lets him stay because he takes his money. Gyro then in this scene sees his father walk by him, stare him in his eye, and then go home. That actually broke Gyro, and that is what led him to his hatred toward humanity, because in that moment, he realized and believed in himself that he was no longer human. He wasn't a human, because he was never viewed as a human. He went on to go home and smash his father's skull with a hammer, stealing his money and fleeing. And through that, in the 18 years, he then founded NGL and became the king. After the Chimera Queen had landed on NGL and started their takeover, and eventually got to the king and killed Gyro and ingested them and started making the soldier ants, Gyro was also reborn. But keeping his will of a king and his strong hatred for humanity, the queen could not control him, and he was actually one of the first Chimera ants to break away from the queen's will. As we see one of his fellow followers, Welfin, also remember their memories and their pastime and remembers that Gyro was their king. In a way, he was literally such a good king that his fellow soldiers were willing to defy death and gain their memories back to remember him in the next life, i.e. Welfin, Ikago, and I don't know what his name is, but he has the claws. It's not mentioned in the anime, but in the manga, he was actually in the same city as Gon and Killua. It is believed that Gyro is in Meteor City, starting to rebuild his empire. What are some of you guys' theories or predictions of Gyro, and what would his purpose be in the manga?